Hey folks, Rene Enriquez here. Welcome to Uncensored. We're going to do a little twist on what we normally do. I want to give you a better view of some of the characters we've been speaking of. And today we're going to do a deep dive on Uncle Fester, Fox Tapia. Because you've been hearing him cross over to multiple crews, multiple Mexican Mafia members, speaking about him. Um, him involved in a variety of different politics. I want to give you some sense of the depth of his politics, right? Uh, almost every call I did during that period of time involved him in some form. They would speak about him as Representative Ugly Betty, and we'll put up graphics of that in a minute. In fact, here's the graphic of Ugly Betty. This was his secretary. It's a grainy picture of a driver's license. I'm sorry, that's the only graphic I could get. This is the woman who was involved in all of his business. In fact, one of the early calls that you listened to between Cholo and Fox, the one Sparkles was involved in, he speaks directly of her. They pushed Maruca out. She needs to be involved. Fox had her and a bunch of different other women involved in Mexican Mafia business to the umpteenth degree. So you're seeing another carryover of this here. In fact, you're going to hear in this little segment, this is a intercepted call. So we're keeping along the theme of Past the Wire. This is an intercepted call in Operation Wicked Hand between Sporty Mora and Lina Fuentes. Sporty Mora was a representative of Ivo Madrigal, whose picture you see here, and Lina Fuentes, who you see here. You're familiar with Sporty Mora, and here's his graphic as well. This is a call between them during that investigation. But they're going to speak specifically about Ugly Betty. Listen to the call now.
Go ahead, Sporty.
Hi, Lina. I'm right here with Fox's people, couple camaradas. Where's your husband at?
Right now, he's in Tabasco, in a fucking town called Marguillo, something like that. But it's a medium security prison, and they just opened this year, a few months ago. It's brand new. It's a brand new federal prison.
Okay, I'll get back to you right now, okay, Lina? But I guess the Hannah Betty, remember the one we were talking about, the secretary? I guess she is in charge. She got the driver's license and everything. She is in charge, and that fool W.
I'm not trying to put in contact with you. You guys can.
Okay, with W and that fool Eminem, they're on disregard, and Fox wants them. You know what I mean? So I'm telling them right now that I'll step up. Him and Wicked, I'll step up. We call him W. I'll tell him I'll step up and I'll do the photo. You know? Because I like the way the fools are running the program. How they put me like, you know what I mean? How they were trying to make me look in front of the big homie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you hear that Sporty Mora says that Fox Tapia Rodriguez Landa, he's got like 5 different names. So we're talking about Uncle Fester. Uncle Fester wants Wicked dealt with, and Sporty Mora has just volunteered to eliminate both of them, and Lina Fuentes accepts his willingness to do that, and that will be relayed to Evil and Fox. But again, the overlap. Here's a crew in Ventura, and a member in Mexico in Tarasco, I think she said it was. I don't know this. I can't remember the town and the prison that he's in. He's in a Mexican prison. This involves Fox is involved this far. With this, his reach was this far, right? So all of his business was politics, right? And one of the things that I'm trying to point out is that Fox was a politician, right? And I don't know why anyone didn't see this from years before, that Fox had never done anything. He had never eliminated anything, and was just about lining his pockets and placing women in charge of crews. You saw that in the Sparkles call where he has her eavesdrop on a confidential conversation between Mexican Mafia members. You see that in peripheral calls between individuals who are not part of Uncle Fester's crew, speaking about him and his girl Ugly Betty, whose depiction you were shown earlier. And then there is a lack of discretion on this individual's part. I mean, a massive lack of discretion in terms of not just phone calls, but the peripheral information that's being leaked out, right? Because it's like a hemorrhage. This information just flies out of everybody's mouth once it's spewed from a Mexican Mafia member. Like, I want this guy gone, or this guy owes me money, or you're violating my territory. It has a ripple effect, and people talk about it. And you're seeing this in these overlapping calls, right? Between Mike Boo, between Cholo Mora, between Cholo and then Sporty Mora. You're seeing this information leak out to multiple counties throughout the state into Mexico. It has this reverberation. It's like echo, right? Kind of like throwing a pebble into the middle of a lake. What I want to show you next is a kite intercepted by Fox. I mean, excuse me, intercepted by law enforcement. This was Fox, who mentioned writing Joker in the call to Cholo, right? He mentioned communicating with Joker when he was in the county jail, and lo and behold, we have the kite that he speaks of, right? And this kite goes in on serious politics, right? He opens up the kite saying, "Cuba mi carnal, Joker BH, identified as validated Mexican Mafia member Jose Gonzalez, CDC number C71416." Then it continues, "This is your truthful, and I'm reading as written. This is your truthful carnal Fox South Los, identified as federal validated M member Jose Rodriguez Landia, CDC number unknown. Writing you this short missive to you and the other brothers." And there's this preamble, this con respeto, I don't mean to interrupt your day. All these mob kites are the same, from camaradas to carnales, right? Or carnales to carnales. But it begins right here. It says, "Another topic. I've been trying to get at you, my brother, with a couple of messages from me to you and the rest of the brothers there with you as well, to all the other carnal in all other prisons, to let you know, and to all brothers in all other prisons, that all them BS accusations that were said about me, it was all lies." Right here, he's on the defensive. Fox is being politicked on. Right? But you noticed his tactics about putting people on the offensive on the defensive rather than the offensive, by questioning the validity of their memberships. Here, after he had a conversation with Cartoon on the phone and accepted him as a carnal, he begins to politic on him, and it's all in this kite, right? And he goes on to say he has lied to Brother Psycho Avenues, identified as Mexican Mafia member Richard Aguirre, CDC number 46743, and to the rest of them carnales about me supposedly eliminating the camarada Malo from Echo Park, identified as Pete Cordero, CDC number P59073, Psycho the Avenue Sobrino. First of all, I don't even know him. I've only heard of him. He goes on to this extensive denial. And we're going to put this up as a graphic, the entire kite in its entirety. We're going to put up the actual kite intercepted, which is written in microscript. But Fox goes on the defensive here. He throws all the culpa, the fault and blame on Cartoon. And this is one of the things that got Cartoon wrecked. He was successful in this campaign. Cartoon was attacked 2 times in federal custody. And Fox immediately shifted the blame and put the spotlight on Cartoon, who was a new member, I might say, who didn't have the juice that Fox apparently had, and was able to shift overall responsibility of the murder from Malo from Echo Park, which is a well-known camarada, right? He was a member of the Aguirre family, and the Aguirre family is comprised of Robert Aguirre from La Habra, who's the cousin to Richard Aguirre, Psycho from Avenues, and who's the cousin to Pee-wee, Alex Aguirre from the Avenues. So there's a dynasty of the Aguirres in the Mexican Mafia, and Malo was a relative of theirs. He's actually a nephew of both Richard and Alex Aguirre. And this is a big thing. I mean, to have an individual killed. In the final analysis, and when the wash came out, the real reason that Malo was killed had nothing to do with this. Absolutely nothing to do with these individuals. But Fox is good at placing the blame on people, and you're going to see that in this kite, which is really a revelation to the average individual. I mean, they don't understand mob politics, and they don't understand how Mexican Mafia members politic on each other. And Fox likes to use a lot of names, like to see in the kite. Now, I continue on. He says, anyways, everything is irrelevant. I'm continuing with the kite. Because the truth just came out, according to the Carnal Big Rube Soto, that Malo, the Echo Park cycles, got killed by federal prison carnales because Malo was stepping on toes and was pushing a hard line against those brothers. That me and Mike Boo got nothing to do with Malo being eliminated, and I never met him before or talked to him before. For a little while, I didn't know why I was accused or blamed on someone that I don't even know. Check it out, brother. Joker Gonzalez. From the beginning of this false accusations, Big Champ from Hazard, Big Rube Soto, identified as federal Mexican Mafia member, Reynoso, CDC B98921, and Soto, and all ADX federal mainline had my back. And you know, Carnal, Danny Boy from Big Hazard, identified as validated Mexican Mafia member Daniel Pina, CDC 15021, had my back too. Again, Fox is with the Danny Pena, the Pelican Bay guys having my back, claims to have all this political support when he really had none. Because his status now is on disregard. His status is really tenuous at this point. He was just convicted in one of these cases and is due to be released in a couple of years. He didn't receive an extensive sentence. But I wanted you to see this kite in its entirety. You'll see that here. And what really gets me at the end is that, because I'm not going to digest the whole kite. I'm going to let you read it up here. You can stop the screen and read it as page by page as it goes along. So you're going to see that for what it is. The kite for what it is. The written kite itself, which is blurry. It's been secreted in body orifices, so the ink is kind of smeared. Imagine where that kite has been. Imagine the process that kite had to go through and the body cavities it had to be inserted in to get from point A to point B, because it is a hot kite. Ultimately, the kite was intercepted, introduced as evidence, and that's why you see it here. And the interpretation you're seeing in printed text is the interpretation by law enforcement. Pretty self-explanatory as it's written, because they're believing it's never going to get intercepted. So it's plain English. For those of you who read efficiently, read between the lines and see what he's saying. Here's the part that gets me. He also mentions Moscas from Samper here, to pass the palabra to all the other brothers. And he says, I don't have the good communication that I don't have before. One last thing. We carnales don't put no brother on no list behind a sobrino of any brother. Carnales come first. Carnales come first. It says carnal comes first, but I'm trying to autocorrect. Before any camarada. Carnal can put money on my books and Rube and one of my camarada, Risky the Tunerville, known as Richard Claiborne, CDC number BF3999. In fact, that was my case, Richard Claiborne, Risky from Tunerville. I testified in his trial, which is the murder of a Mongol. So this is a real camarada. In fact, I heard he got washed up and encountered some difficulties in the prison he went to. But Fox has the audacity to ask other brothers that are incarcerated for money. And he gives out the names and numbers. He writes his name, Jose Landa Rodriguez. He gives his booking number. James Soto gives his booking number. Richard Claiborne gives his booking number in the county jail. Gracias, brother. With that said, may you and the rest of the brothers have a productive one. I exit this with a firm Sur M handshake, como siempre, con todo mi respeto, tu fiel y leal Carnal Fox. Footnote, here's a list of the federal brothers that were just made. This is a kicker, too. All the federal brothers who were just made in federal prison, which was a few years back. Badger from Hawaiian Gardens, identified as Albert Martinez, discharged CDC number P78620, and Federal Bureau of Prisons number. His registration number is 56252-112. Lalo from Compton Tortilla Flats, identified as Eduardo Verduzco, discharge CDC number P95496, and Federal Bureau of Prison registration number 15572-064. Sniper from Ontario, identified as Alex Castro, discharge CDC number G Golf 38591, and Federal Bureau of Prisons registration number 56769-112. That suffix 112 identifies the Central District of California, Los Angeles area, right? Each suffix identifies a specific region. And then there's Wicked from Wilmas, identified as Victor Flores, Federal Bureau of Prison number 46850-112. And then the last one is Chito from Escondido, identified as Jesus Barragan, discharge CDC number J32559, and Federal Bureau of Prison number 31155-298. I also testified in Jesus Barragan's trial in Operation Notorious County and North County, San Diego. So I'm familiar with a lot of these guys, right? I knew some were on the cusp of being made. That's confirmation from carnales to carnales that these individuals were made. I understand there's some controversy with some of these members, but it may have been resolved, particularly with Badger from Hawaiian Gardens, who was put on the shelf for a minute. With that said, folks, you get a deeper look into Fox Tapia. We're putting up the kites so you can look at them during this video. You can evaluate them. Pictures of the individuals involved. We'll include those as well. With that said, folks, hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a productive weekend or week, whatever it is, whatever day this video is dropped on. Wish you all peace and happiness. Peace out, folks.